Tonight, Cronkite News is taking you full circle. Our goal is to be transparent in our planning and reporting the news of the day, so we are taking you from pitch to prime time and even inside our post-newscast meeting. We'll document the work of our reporters, editors, and producers as we prepare stories for our Arizona PBS audience and for cronkitenews.azpbs.org. We hope you enjoy this look behind the scenes. This is Cronkite News Full Circle.
It is 6:30 and we are going to Desert Shadows Middle School because teachers are expected to do a walk-in this morning. My focus today is going to be like kind of what's next, because I mean they've been doing these walk-ins and walkouts and demonstrations for the past month. Alright, we're really early, but that's okay, we'll get like the B-roll of like this kind of stuff. Right now I am posting to social before everything gets started to let everybody know kind of who follows us to be expecting that we'll be reporting from Desert Shadows Middle School today. Would you mind if we ask you a few questions?
Oh, no, not at all.
Why are you out here?
I 100% believe in our teachers.
The rest of our crowd is further down this way.
We are going to start walking in on this sidewalk. We're going to not get hit as we cause traffic. And we are going to walk in together. We're going in these doors right here. Once again, parents, holy cow, thank you so much for being here.
Sorry. I did not think we were going to get them walking in, and now we will. We are headed to our second school of the day, Desert Springs Elementary School. Their walk-in is supposed to start at 8:15.
Wiping the slate.
Spoke too soon. Look at this market. Would you mind if I asked you a few questions too?
Okay.
Can you tell us a little bit about why?
I know the hard work that they do. I see it all the time.
The main entrance, but there is another entrance over there that I'm scared that they're gonna walk through because we're gonna wait here for them. But if they start going that way, I'm gonna sprint or cut through the school because I want to get them walking in through the entrance. That was awesome.
Pretty good deal.
So we're also following Red for Ed to see if they will do a full walkout using either the sick days or calling out for like some personal reason.
The walk-ins are happening this morning, so maybe she can try to go to the people after that, she and Chris, and try to get some of the political stuff for today's package.
Heather messaged us that there's going to be an announcement today, possibly, that teachers are going to plan a walkout, so she wants us to get ahead of it. So she told us to expect details today. We need to run by the Capitol and talk to some people there. So we're heading back to the newsroom right now. I'm not exactly too sure. I thought the rest of the day was going to look like going back, editing, and writing my script, editing the package, and delivering it for the show. Now it seems like we might have to get ahead of some other news that might be coming out later today. Someone's announcing that there's going to be a walkout.
We're expecting the Arizona Educators United to announce their plans for the walkout today.
Today at the Capitol?
I don't know where.
Okay. So it could even be just online?
It could be, yeah.
Okay. Chris in there is calling one of our sources from Arizona Educators United. We're just waiting for the rest of my footage to upload so that we can head out to the Capitol. I think we just tell them, like, you know,
we
at
think
this
they're gonna
point,
walk out
like,
at
they
this
could
point.
very possibly walk out sometime soon.
Yeah, do you have a plan for that?
I'm not aware of any announcement right now. I think that will be potentially coming in the next few days, but I'm not certain.
So I think while we're doing that, the first step is to get set up, get you set up with a laptop and Premiere so you can edit your package.
I'll start off by just writing the script on my computer, so you can use your computer if you need to.
Okay.
Now I want to start going through while we're waiting for interviews with legislators. I'm going to start going through, picking out thoughts from earlier. Doesn't it feel like all this happened like 3 days ago?
Let's get this movement to grow.
Noah Carvelis just messaged me back. I'll know as soon as we make a decision. We just haven't decided yet. We will put out a statement and I will hold a press conference. What do you think that family's doing over there? They're talking to what looks like a legislator? but the boy was wearing a Red for Ed shirt. And
as soon as it looks like they're done with their conversation.
Yeah. Is there like a Red for Ed event going on here right now?
There is actually a teacher from SONORAN Foothills, Mr. Benson, just ran all the way up here, so it was like 20-something miles from the school. So we were just coming to greet him.
Okay,
Welcome.
Awesome. Is he going to be here for a couple minutes?
Yep.
Can I go get my camera?
Yep.
Awesome. Thank you.
South, all the way down 19th Avenue here to the Capitol.
I'm going to finish up that script and slack it over to Heather for approval, and it's only 12:37, which means I'm still like an hour and a half ahead of deadline for scripts. She's going to send another reporter here to kind of sit with Chris and wait out a response on the governor and other legislators. I'm going to head back to an edit bay in Cronkite. So Heather just approved me to go ahead and track my package. While I was out there, she went ahead and put it in ENPS for me. So. Teacher Jennifer Samuels led her colleagues in the community in walking into Desert Shadows Middle School. So.
Our students and our teachers deserve better than...
Go ahead and deliver.
Awesome.
Thanks.
Thank you. We're delivered, it's ready, and there's 1 minute till deadline, but we did it. Students, parents, and staff showed up by the thousands in the early morning hours at schools across the state.
Arizona to Tucson, thousands of people participated in walk-ins to show support for the Red for Ed movement. Reporter Gabriella Becerra shows us what happened in the valley.
Students, parents, and staff showed up by the thousands in the early morning hours at schools across the state. They wore red to show support for their teachers.
Our students and our teachers deserve better than what we're getting right now.
Teacher Jennifer Samuels led her colleagues and the community in walking into Desert Shadows Middle School. Parents at the event are supporting their child's teachers in whatever next steps they take. Parent and former educator Jill Leshin says she thinks teachers need to go on strike.
If teachers strike, then what's going to happen is parents can't go to work, and then it's going to directly affect the economy. And then people are going to start to pay attention.
Leshin says she is willing to help, even if that means increasing taxes.
I am more than happy to fund education as a homeowner, as a voter, and I think if we all just pitched in a little bit, that's what community is all about.
At Desert Springs Preparatory Elementary, teacher Amy Smith led the event.
We support Red for Ed.
Smith says the state hasn't properly funded education since 2008.
Without that funding, all of the students in our buildings don't have as many textbooks and technology and supplies. Class sizes are very large. Take it.
Arizona Educators United Noah Carvelis says that they have not yet made a decision on whether or not teachers will be walking out. This decision could be coming in the next couple of days. Live in the Media Center, Gabriella Becerra, Cronkite News.
Red for Ed support is running down to the Capitol, literally, as one teacher left his school this morning and ran a marathon at the Arizona Capitol. Physical education teacher LANDON Benson left Sonoran Foothills School at 6:30 this morning, ran down 19th Avenue and finished his trek at the Capitol just after 11. Waiting at the finish line was his family and former track coach. He was introduced on the House floor as a special guest. Benson compares the marathon as an analogy for education.
About funding for our schools that have dropped significantly in the last decade, and so it's about bringing those up and the long term. A marathon is a long race, and it's about creating long-term sustainability in our education system.
Depend on Cronkite News for full updates on the Red for Ed movement. We'll post on our social channels and online at cronkitenews.azpbs.org.
One of the best things that I heard, just from my little source behind the scenes, was that people know you, like sources know you. So when you both show up, they're like, oh, there's the Cronkite News team. Hi, Gabriella. Hi, Chris. And that is what it's about, is working those sources and being with it, because that's a story that could pop at any moment. So I appreciated hearing that. So
you
thank
guys
you.
are getting, yeah, an impromptu.
Thank
you.
Woo!
I feel like today went really well, even though a lot of it was completely unexpected. When I went to bed last night trying to plan this, I still wasn't exactly sure how today would turn out with just the schools, but then there was a great turnout at both the schools. We were able to make it to both of the schools, which was kind of unexpected. And then when we got back here, completely unexpected to go to the Capitol, and then even more unexpected to find like another great story on a teacher that would benefit the newscast and that other package. So we made it in before deadline, so I feel like that too was kind of unexpected after I saw how our day was going, but I'm really happy. I think that it turned out great.
My other two are working on future stories, but I can pull Michaela to do, try to get something on light rail if we want.
And what are you doing right now?
Researching the expansion in South Central for the Valley Metro. Trying to figure out who we can contact, what businesses are going to be in that area, where exactly this area is at.
Yes. How can these businesses along the Central Corridor in South Phoenix actually survive what we know is going to happen with light rail construction over the next couple of years? So you have, you know, the business owners, residents, obviously concerned about traffic flow patterns, business access, but then the city council says this is a necessary evil for the betterment of our infrastructure.
And the fact that South Phoenix is one of the last ones to get it, and it is a big issue because we might need light rail more in that area, just in terms of the cars, income level.
The goal would be grab a camera, head down to the area that's going to be impacted first, and talk to business owners.
Want to head out?
This is perfect. Yeah.
So what just happened?
They did not want to be on camera for an interview.
Let me call someone.
Thank you. They said the manager's not here, so that means they can't speak to us. Hopefully someone will talk to us in the next like 20 minutes. I'm wondering if someone specifically can speak on camera about it.
Yeah, we'll take a little bit.
Thank you. And we were wondering if anyone from Valley Metro could speak with us today.
Give me a moment. Let me get you over to the right department, okay?
Thank you.
Actually, the light rail they want to construct in between downtown to Best Line and One Time. We don't want it. We cannot allow that. This is the meetings we're supposed to be the group meeting on. You cannot have that kind of serious meeting to impact the whole entire South Phoenix community.
So what are you doing right now?
Getting some B-roll of the shop.
So Michaela just got done with her second interview, and during the time between wrapping up the second interview, we actually got a phone call back from Councilwoman Kate Gallego, and so we're actually going to call her back right now and drive back to the studio while I'm recording her interview on a voice memo while she's talking to her on the phone, if that makes sense. There's a lot going on. Okay.
Deadline. Okay. Everything's in.
It will go through great neighborhoods, including the warehouse district and along the riverfront.
So why did you pick that quote?
I want to talk about the construction time and how these businesses feel like it's going to be too long.
Producers are in my script right now.
Okay, they're probably putting your CGs in. 4 lanes will, let's see, will soon be reduced. Or maybe we throw in something here about how, you know, Valley Metro does plan to, you know, put up signs to direct people to businesses.
Oh, yeah.
Something like that.
4 lanes will soon be reduced to 2.
I had it pulled up so you could go over your interviews.
On deadline. Can I end the light rail?
Do you want me to look at your video?
Yes, please.
Yep.
Thank you. are worried their businesses will not survive.
Our businesses that pay taxes.
What you could do here is just swap it and put this up at the top. And you just think of it like a super. Looks good.
Thank you so much.
All right.
So how are you feeling right now?
Better. It's delivering, which means it's almost done. Ready for air. Everything was approved. Today was good. After all these rejections, there's a positive at the end of the day.
Businesses in the area more than help them.
The light rail expansion will go through despite a 3-hour hearing with business owners and community members. The Phoenix City Council decided to start construction in South Phoenix. Reporter Michaela Moorhead talked to business owners located on Central.
4 lanes will soon be reduced to 2 after council members took a vote last night to start construction on the new light rail section along Central Avenue from Jefferson to Baseline. But not everyone supports the extension. Small business employees like Byron Waldrop, who work in that stretch, are worried their businesses will not survive.
Our businesses that pay taxes, most of us are going to go away because we just won't have the income coming in anymore. We're going to lose employees. It's going to be devastating.
Construction from the light rail expansion is estimated to be done in 2023. Another local business worker, CELIA Contreras, says that is too long.
I cannot afford a 4 years construction. Actually, the light rail, they want to construct in between downtown to Baseline and one time.
Although many business owners aren't in favor of the expansion, Phoenix City Councilwoman Kate Gallego is hopeful the change will be positive.
I hope it'll be a great chance for people who don't always get to visit Central and South Phoenix to be able to have new connections and be able to get into the neighborhood. So I hope they'll get to try our great restaurants and visit the great shopping.
But Waldrop says businesses are concerned about surviving the short term in order to see whether there will be long-time benefits. In Phoenix, Michaela Moorhead, Cronkite News.
Valley Metro plans to place signs directing traffic to businesses along the stretch.
No, producers pitched, a story this morning that we hadn't planned to do, and we found a way to do it. So I give mad props to Michaela, and also she was our full circle person of the day. So I think it was a good example of, okay, we have an idea, how can we execute it, and that's a good experience for you.
I think today went really well, from starting to the pitch, not really knowing where I was going or who I was going to interview, and then getting rejected so many times, and then finally having something to go on air. I think that went really well.
And the next time you're going out on a day turn, what are you going to take away from today?
Next time I go on a day turn, let's see. Bring snacks.
Hopefully trying to get a teacher as well, to again figure out where this money's going to come from and how they feel after Juicy's announcement yesterday.
The Democrats just released a statement yesterday. They don't want to talk on camera today. Instead, they referred me to their statement. Basically says that teachers were promised an education governor with Doug Ducey, and that all they're getting is empty soup, serving up empty promises. So I'm gonna reach out to Republicans now, see what they have to say.
It's Friday. Politicians take it off. Like when they recessed the floor yesterday, they recessed until Monday.
My name is Gabriel Gamino. I'm a reporter for Cronkite News on Arizona PBS. And I was calling to reach out and see if Senator Quezada has time today for an on-camera interview.
Your package should sort of, we would like it to be like reaction from all sides if possible.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying. And I think that my interview at 11, she's the spokesperson for SOS. She was actually at the Ducey announcement. So I think she'll have a lot to say about the teachers being skeptical and stuff like that. A little nervous to see if we'll be able to get these interviews because we are on a time crunch since it's Friday. So they wanted a 20% raise across the board for support staff and all that. And it seems, not completely sure, but it seems like this budget proposal is geared only towards teachers.
This is Kate Brophy McGee. Who is this?
Hi, Senator McGee. My name is Gabriel Gamino. I am a reporter for Arizona PBS. How are you doing today?
You know, I thought to myself, it's almost like studying for the final after the exam. So I would have thought that he would have had that figured out. That makes me concerned.
And you said you wanted a reaction on which?
It would be the proposal that Governor Ducey made yesterday for education.
Oh, okay.
Now, I understand that he's also busy, so if a camera interview is not possible, you know, a phone interview, and as long as I can record it and use it on the broadcast, would be good too. On Twitter, Senator Quesada was very vocal about, you know, where these funds coming from. So if we can get him and substitute the Democrats' statement, that would be even better. Since we have Senator Brophy McGee on the Republican side, it'd be nice to have him on the Democrat side. Still on the deadline, it's 11:20, which means we have to go back, get the interview into the system, start finishing writing the script, and have it all done by deadline. So the reason I was reaching out was to see if we could potentially get an interview or something from the school district. Actually, can I give you a call back? I have a senator calling me on the other line.
Yeah, go ahead. We're not going to do any kind of public statement at this point, though.
Okay.
We're still sorting out all the details. Yeah, we're happy that we're getting additional resources, but
Okay.
there's a long way to go.
All right, I'll make note of that. I apologize. Thank you so much.
All right, bye.
Hello? Hello?
Hi, Gabriel. This is Martin Quesada.
Oh, how are you doing, Senator?
I'm doing good.
Thank you for taking the time out of your day to speak with me. Give me this, thanks. Added. Yep.
Stand by. Chair Frazier, thank you for joining us.
Teachers say they are encountering a lot of unanswered questions after Governor Ducey released a plan for raising teachers' salaries by 20% by the year 2020. Cronkite News reporter Gabriel Gamino explains why a threatened teacher walkout is still on the table.
Teachers are not the only ones saying they're skeptical when it comes to the governor's plan. I spoke with advocates along with Democrats and Republicans about Ducey's proposal,
and they all questioned where the money would come from.
It's almost like studying for the final after the exam. So I would have thought that he would have had that figured out. That makes me concerned.
RAQUEL MAMANI, spokesperson for Save Our Schools, isn't the only one concerned with where the money for Governor Doug Ducey's proposal is coming from. Senate Education Committee Chairwoman Senator Sylvia Allen, a Republican, expressed similar concerns.
But I certainly support what he is trying to do. The details will be in how we do the money.
Democrats also reacted to the proposal, releasing a statement saying in part, quote, Ducey's pay raise proposal is the sort of political theater that only vulnerable governors pull on election year. Democratic Senator Martin Quesada added, Democrats are more than willing to work with the governor and across the aisle to reach a deal.
This isn't about politics. This is about investing in our schools in the right way. And so I hope that the governor will be open to working with us on getting that done.
The governor's plan still has a major hurdle to overcome.
And the governor can propose what he proposes, but in the end, he's got to have the will of the legislature, and there could be changes made to what the governor is asking.
And as far as educators go, a walkout, they say, is still a possibility.
I think it all remains on the table. We continue to organize, we continue to mobilize, we continue to do the work that is necessary for us to get what is needed to actually fix, or at least start to fix, the education problem in Arizona.
The governor's proposal still does not meet most of the demands set forth by education advocates.
The biggest one being a raise that includes school support staff. The governor is said to be meeting with legislators this weekend and through Monday, hoping to find where the money would come from. In the broadcast center, Gabriel Gamino, Cronkite News.
I think probably one of the most
challenging things for a reporter who is under a really tight deadline is how am I going to get all of my elements that I know I need, plus how am I going to be able to put all of this together in such a short amount of time and have it make sense. And I think you really did a very nice job with that today, so kudos to you.
You know, it would have been cool to be able to get all these interviews on camera. I had 2 on the phone interviews. Wish, again, those could have been on camera. I could have got their reaction, their facial expressions. Also would have been cool to get a teacher, but you know, they're all working in the classroom, getting the students ready for their AZ merit exams, but overall it worked out good.
This has been a special edition of Cronkite News Full Circle. For top Arizona news anytime, go to cronkitenews.azpbs.org.
As journalists at Cronkite News, we report on stories that matter to you by focusing on the local impact. We dig deeper and work tirelessly to keep you informed.
Live in Wickerburg.
Live in Los Angeles.
In Cleveland.
In Washington. In Louisville.
From Jerusalem.
Live in Philadelphia. From around the world to right here in Phoenix.
At Cronkite News, we report the facts and stick to the truth.
I'm Ted Simons, host and managing editor of Arizona Horizon. Join us each weekday at 5:30 and 10 as we bring you the top newsmakers who impact the state. We cover the stories in depth that shape and affect our local communities, and we take the time to ensure that all voices are equally heard. For more than 30 years, Arizona Horizon has been your voice and your source for what matters most, right here on Arizona PBS.